Am I the asshole? For telling someone I never desired a daughter and didn't try for a girl? Weird question, but I have 4 sons. They are 14, 12, 8, and 4. The older 2 are biological and the younger 2 were adopted after a birth complication made us infertile. I was at the park over the weekend with my younger 2 boys. I got to chatting with another couple and mentioned that I had 4 boys. She said something like, "Oh, you poor thing. I wanted a girl too," but he, pointing to her husband, didn't want to have a third. I told her that I didn't try for a girl and that if I wanted a girl we could have put that in our adoption paperwork, but we didn't have a gender preference. I had no strong desire for a girl and love having sons, so she has no reason to feel sorry for me. It rubbed me the wrong way that she said "poor thing." Like my boys aren't good enough for me, and she said it right in front of them. They already have to field questions about being adopted. They shouldn't have to feel bad about their gender too, you know? Anyway, the lady got upset, told me I was being rude for no reason, and walked away. I spoke to my sil about it and she also felt I didn't handle it correctly. She has 3 girls and 1 boy and said it is just a normal thing people comment on. She said people will tell her that her son is going to be feminine because he only has sisters and she just shrugs it off, so I should have done the same. Am I the asshole? Edit. Goodness guys. Reporting me for concern of self-harm is crazy. Not the asshole. That was weird and presumptuous of her. It feels like she's relying on a gendered stereotype that says that girls are easier kids to care for because they'll take on some of your household labor or work around your needs, whereas boys can do whatever they want and there's no solution for it. Whereas the reality is that kids of all ages can learn to take on chores and help their parents, and children of all ages should be allowed to have a childhood and be boisterous. Some fucking nonsense. And I'm glad you make sure your kids knew you wouldn't have wanted them any other way. When are you having a baby? When are you having a second? Will you go for a third now you have 2 of the same? Do you think you should have a 4th as they aren't getting enough attention? Do you have the money for all these children? Oh gosh, I bet you wish you'd stopped at 2? No matter what the circumstances, a woman's reproduction or family situation is open season for comments. I have no idea why, but people project what they think is right ideal onto others and ask questions that they wouldn't ask if it was about any other private thing. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This other woman is being the It rubbed you the wrong way when she said "poor thing" because she meant it that way. She was implying that you are worse off because of your sons and that you are too stupid to realize it. Your sil should have supported you. It might be normal to say "did you ever want a girl?" But that is not what happened here. Someone insulted the validity of your family. You are about the only person in this story with a healthy understanding of reality. Not the asshole. She only accused you of being rude because she was embarrassed about making an assumption. Not the asshole. I hate it when people gatekeep gender and or parenthood. Now here you have both. Not the asshole. People need to shut up. Honestly. My dad is one of 11 boys. 4. People used to say "oh man, if only she had girls," or some variation by people at gatherings and whatnot. I mean, the brothers were notorious lol. But they were boys and did dumb crap like kids do. Anyway. One day my one uncle had enough and said, well, we would have had 2 sisters had my mother not had a miscarriage, raising 11 boys almost by herself. That was the end of that. Not the asshole. You did the right thing by sticking up for your boys in front of them. Maybe it will make this woman more cautious next time she opens her mouth, and maybe not. As for your sister-in-law, I definitely wouldn't get angry with someone who told me my son was going to be feminine, because that would make it sound as if feminine was a bad thing. I might challenge them in another way, like, isn't it lucky that he's growing up with all these great role models for kindness and emotional availability? All boys should be so lucky, but her situation is different, maybe not so harmful to shrug off that weird comment. Not the asshole for what you are asking. However, why tell strangers your kids are adopted? You are saying they have to field questions about being adopted already, so why keep mentioning it? Or was just this an exception? Otherwise I think you should have just laughed off that rude person. Not the asshole. Unless you cleaned up your response a lot, it doesn't sound like you said anything rude. But don't worry about your boys. I doubt they'll be impacted by what some random stranger says. Your day-to-day way of caring for them is bound to have a much stronger impact. Not the asshole. Just because people commonly feel justified in making comments like that doesn't mean it's okay. It's not small talk. It's rude. Not the asshole. People need to stop assumptions or commentary on the genitals of children. Not the asshole. But it really is pointless talking to people who make assumptions about other people's preferences. They never seem to get how ridiculous they are. Not the asshole. Just because she wishes she had a daughter, doesn't automatically mean every boy mom wants a girl too. You have 4 boys who you love, that's all that matters. Good grief. What a rude ass thing to say. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. People make assumptions and when do with a total stranger life it's not okay. You were not rude, you set her straight on your choice. She was rude to poke her nose in. When she didn't like your response you suddenly become rude. Please don't give her another thought. Not the asshole. Personally, I'm one of 5, 4 girls and 1 boy, and everyone would say poor thing about my brother for having sisters, as if we were some kind of disease he had to endure. As an adult, my brother has said he liked having sisters instead of brothers and was happy with the dynamic in our fam. Not the asshole. All the AITA comments are a shock. She told you how she felt, made an assumption you felt the same, and got offended when you corrected her. Not the asshole. My daughter is my youngest and I always got comments about trying until I had a daughter. No. Fuck no. Even if I was, it's not appropriate to comment on. Is it a normal comment? Yes, from invasive assholes who make assumptions. And yes, it is intended to make a certain point about the amount of boys you had. And if you had daughters it would have been the same damn commentary. Not the asshole. People assume all the time we are kids. They're wrong. I tell them so. Not the asshole. It's not normal to comment on just because people do it regularly. I am one of 3 girls and my mom's sister has 4 girls. My entire life that side of the family has always commented about how they would love a boy, how much better it would be if there were just 1 male grandchild. It is so weird to comment on. You handled it really well and the woman is probably just ashamed of herself. BC no one has told her that it's rude to comment on someone else's family like that. I'd quote this even is, but good for you for sticking up for your kids. Your sil needs a reality check. You are not required to be nice to strangers that say weird shit to you, especially in front of your children. You sound like a great parent. Not the asshole. Nata. I have 4 biological sons and people feel bad for me. It's annoying. Yeah, girl clothes are cute but I like my kids for who they are, not their gender. Not the asshole. You love your sons and that's fine. As long as they know you love them, then that's fine and they shouldn't feel bad about their gender. That woman was rude. Some people, like your sil, can shrug it off. You should eventually stop dwelling and love your sons like you clearly do. Nata. She was rude. Not the asshole. The lady made a really inappropriate comment in front of your boys. She was way out of line. You reinforced to them that you love them and wanted them. Not getting into gender selection here, but it is really presumptuous to tell someone else what they want. I've heard it from the other end. Don't you want a son to carry on the family name? That is rude. No, I don't and I'm happy with what I have. Your sil is wrong. This is bad manners and it is not a normal thing to comment to a stranger. And she should protect her sons better from snide comments from strangers. Why can't people just mind their own business? Not the asshole at all. That woman was being rude. She assumed you were stuck with 4 boys and would have preferred a girl. She said it in front of your boys. Not cool.